What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the United Devils YouTube channel. My name is Arion, and I am back with the big one today. I am back with some team news and a preview for Manchester United against Sevilla, the Europa League semi-final. It's finally arrived. It's felt like every game since the lockdown ended and the Premier League restarted was a cup final for United. They needed to get the results and not lose in order to get into the top four. They did that. Mentally, they outlasted their opponents. They ended up finishing third. They came up just a little bit short in the FA Cup semi-final due to rotation and all that stuff. Clearly, the Premier League was prioritised, but now this is a real chance for some silverware for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his team. This is a real opportunity to start instilling that winning mentality into this young squad. Whether players leave or whether players stay, we don't know what the squad is going to look like on the 12th of September when the season in the Premier League will recommence. United are obviously in the market for a couple of players, Jadon Sancho namely the biggest one, which is now kind of coming to a stall a little bit, but it still does feel like that deal is going to be dragged over the line sooner rather than later. But whether players stay or not, it is important to start winning, because you can't take any shortcuts when it comes to winning. You have to breed winning by winning. And having gotten to the third semi-final of the season, this team now needs to go, as Solskjaer said in his press conferences earlier today, one step further, or in fact 2 steps further, because one step brings them to the final and the second would, of course, be the victory and a chance for this team to lift some silverware, a chance for some of those young players like Rashford and Martial, who have already won with United, to kind of be the leaders now, to be the poster boys of success for this team and of the development that has taken place in the last 2 and a bit years since Jose Mourinho left and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over and started cleaning up the huge mess that this football club was in the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era. So it does feel like now it is the right time for this club to take the next step, and winning silverware and coming third in the league would be a very good stepping stone on the way to where this club belongs, which is competing for trophies every single season and also being at the top of the Premier League, which is, of course, the priority for everybody involved with everything that's going on. That is the main goal, to be the best in England once again. So without further ado, let's get into the preview. It is quite fitting that Sevilla are the opponents, because Sevilla were the witnesses of one of the biggest disasters that Old Trafford has seen in recent years, which was that knockout game in the Champions League in 2018 under Jose Mourinho, which was followed by the Portuguese man going on a rant about the football heritage of this football club and how it has been struggling since Sir Alex left, and even in Sir Alex's last season, where the club did not go past the quarterfinal stage. And this game is kind of life coming full circle again. It is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's chance to show what this club is about, the progress that has been made. And it's just funny enough how life works that Sevilla are once again the obstacle. This Spanish team is standing in front of United's chance to progress, to go into a final, to show that they are a serious club and that they are developing, that there is progress being made in the board, on the pitch, off the pitch, within management. This club has been sailing very low for quite some time now, and it's time to start stepping back up, and beating Sevilla would kind of close that chapter of Manchester United, that shameful chapter that nobody really wants to go back to, the chapter that brings back bad memories, and the one that nobody really wanted to write, but it was written, because that's just how sport and life works. So now it is the perfect opportunity to go into tomorrow night with the strongest 11 and show that progress was made, that there is the foundation now being built for this team to go on and become successful with some more additions. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need to be backed, because he's showed so far that he does deserve it. So, team news, everyone that is in Sevilla with the team, so that's the whole squad plus some youth players minus Luke Shaw, Axel Tuanzebe and Phil Jones, are fit and available. I would expect a couple of changes for this one. I think we saw with how defensive Copenhagen was, how much danger they kind of created in front of United's goal, even though they had no shots on target. That the midfield was a little bit shaky with Fred in there instead of Matic. And I think Eric Bailly had a great game when it comes to covering up his teammates' mistakes, but I would expect him to kind of go out of the lineup as well in favor of Victor Lindelof. But I do think that the team will stay largely the same, bar 2 changes that I will make in my predicted 11, which I will get to in a moment. So I think in goal, Sergio Romero will retain his spot. There is absolutely no reason to drop him. And I think with how not physical this Sevilla side is, how much they like to play ball and keep it on the floor, having somebody like Sergio Romero in goal, who is quite confident with his feet, but is also very commanding in his box, and he claims every ball that comes in aerially, it kind of just erases that backup option for Sevilla, that if they cannot get through on the ground, they could try go over the top. But I do think that any crosses or corners, which Sevilla had 14 of against Wolves, would just be dealt with by Sergio Romero and Harry Maguire, who have, of course, been the generals for United in this competition when it comes to clearing out danger from those kind of attacking scenarios by the opposition. So I do think Sergio Romero will retain his spot. As I said, there is no reason to drop him. Another clean sheet against Copenhagen after 2 hours of play. Of course, he didn't have that much to do, but he has been the most reliable backup option in world football in recent years. And I think this is his competition. This is his stage to shine, and this is his chance to contribute to Manchester United's history as a fan of the club. He is motivated. He has remained concentrated for the whole season while David De Gea was playing, even through some mistakes. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to just allow Romero to play, to shine, and to help this club go, hopefully, all the way. Moving into the back line, I think Arion Wan-Bissaka, of course, starts. This is just, there is no room now for rotation for the sake of it. This is best team has to play. The team that you feel has the best chance of winning has to play. And for United, that is the pretty much set in stone first 11, which I will be opting for in this game. So Arion Wan-Bissaka, of course, retains his spot at right back. Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire at centre back. So I would swap out Eric Bailly and bring in Lindelof. It's that match rhythm, it's that reading of the game, it's the composure on the ball. I just think that Victor Lindelof suits playing this Sevilla side a bit more. I think they press quite well, and I think Lindelof copes better with the ball at his feet, although Eric Bailly is quite underrated with the ball at his feet, but I just think he's a little bit more chaotic when it comes to bringing the ball out from the back. And I can't see United switching it up and going long in this one, even though Sevilla, like I said, are not that physical. I do think Solskjaer will stick to his principles in this one and just try to play our own game, and that will involve playing out from the back. And I just think Lindelof brings that little bit more composure into the back line. He brings the ball out into the opposition half very well. He gets involved with attacks when the oppositions are on the back foot. So I do think that he will get back into the side and play alongside Harry Maguire, like has been the case for a big chunk of this season. And at left back, I think Brandon Williams, of course, is the only option really with Luke Shaw injured, unless Solskjaer wants to do experiments, which, like I said, this is no time for experiments now. This is the crunch end of this competition, and you have to go for your best 11. And Williams has been reliable. He hasn't been making that many mistakes. He has kind of teetered off a little bit come the end of the season, especially when Luke Shaw regained his starting spot. But I think this is it's the perfect test for him right now to see whether he has what it takes to be a Manchester United player on the biggest stage. This is a Europa League semi-final. It's not a Champions League semi-final. This is his stage to show that he can be a valuable asset going forward, especially on the back of getting a new contract. And I think Arion Wan-Bissaka and Williams will be very important with how Sevilla like to play, because particularly Williams, because Suso is the one that predominantly operates on that right-hand side, and he will be the main danger man in the final third for Sevilla, whether that is with ball playing, passing, or chance creation. He is the man that Ever Banega slips the balls into, and he just creates. He's their main source of chances. So I do think that Brandon Williams will have quite a task on his hand, because Suso is a roaming player, even though he starts out on the right-hand side. So I do think that this game will be a huge test for Brandon Williams, and hopefully he passes it with flying colours and shows that giving him that contract and trusting the process with his development was the right call. Moving into the midfield, I'm going back to the classic, the good old reliable Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic double pivot, with, of course, Nemanja Matic being the one that's more reserved, and Pogba having then that license to move it forward a little bit and see what's in front of him and pick out the passes into the final third, which Pogba has been so fantastic at since the restart, since he's regained his full fitness. And you can just see with every coming game that he's getting better and better. He's so composed on the ball. He was winning everything in the air against Copenhagen. He was the man that was connecting that back line with the midfield, and it's just the flow of the game. It's coming to him now. He's letting the game come to him instead of forcing himself on the game. And I think having the Nemanja Matic next to him instead of Fred gives him that peace of mind that what's behind him is secured with the big Serb, and he can go forward and he can have a bit more creativity in his game. He doesn't have to play the safe option every time because he knows that Nemanja Matic will clean everything up after him, whereas Fred is a bit more of a Nate. He likes to go forward a little bit. He likes to jump into tackles and try to intercept the ball, and sometimes that leaves United exposed. Matic doesn't do that much. Him, like Lindelof, he relies on reading the game more and letting the game come to him, and he's the ideal partner for Pogba when you want to utilize Pogba a little more on the offensive side. So I would go for Matic and Pogba in that double pivot again. The most reliable duo since the lockdown ended, and I do think that this game calls for that set-in-stone midfield of these two trying to lead United to glory. And then moving into the front four, I would keep it as it was for the Copenhagen game, as it was for the past few games. Now, with the huge stake games for United, which will be Greenwood, Bruno, Rashford, and Martial up front. I just think there is, like I said, time and time again, this is kind of the key word of this preview, is there's no time for changes now. There's no time for experiments. You know this is your best front four available right now, and you just have to use it. Everybody is fit. They had 6 days to recover, which, as Solskjaer also said in his press conference, has not been the case pretty much at all this season, and especially not since the lockdown ended. So now these players should be reinvigorated. They have now 1 full game in their feet. All of them played either 90 or more against Copenhagen. Green was the only one that was taken off early, and then Rashford, of course, near the end of the extra time with a little knock. Everyone else then got full 120 in. Now they've recovered properly. They have six days to prepare for this game in terms of their physical recovery as well as tactical, and there's just no excuses now. These are the optimal conditions for football. The weather is not too hot. It's warm, but it's the kind of weather that you want to play football in once the pitch has been wetted, and it's just perfect for the kind of play that United want to play. And I do think that front four stays intact. Mason Greenwood did enough to keep his spot, even though he was taken off, of course, for extra time in place of Juan Mata, who, of course, came on and changed the game for United and contributed massively in winning that winning penalty. But I don't think Juan Mata comes in and starts from the get-go, because you need energy against that Sevilla side who like to press, who do commit men forward, and then are prone to being hit on the counter. And I don't think that Juan Mata fits that style of play. Mason Greenwood, though, with Rashford on those wings, Bruno in the middle, and Martial going forward, fit that like a glove. And I do think that Solskjaer will look to expose those facets of Sevilla's game. The fact that they do commit so many men forward and are prone to being hit on the counter-attack. So I do think that front four will stay the same, and hopefully now they will take some chances, because they created a ton of them against a low block Copenhagen, and they just couldn't pounce until Bruno's penalty. So now United will get chances, but they just have to take them. This is the semi-final now, and as Solskjaer also said in his press conference, big players have to step up now and show that they're the leaders and that they're going to lead this Manchester United team. And there's no better stage than a semi-final of a European competition to stake your claim as being one of the faces of United and just take this club on your back and lead them into the final against what could be a reunion with some United players, as Inter are facing Shakhtar in the other semi-final on Monday night. So to wrap it up, I'll just go over the 11 again. Romero in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Williams in the defence. Matic and Pogba just in front, Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford in that front three, backing up the one Anthony Martial, the leading scorer this season in all competitions.